When there's injustice, crime, and inequality in the society, who do the people cry and run to? It is for this reason that constitutions are established to constitute and establish law and order in the society. But when established structures, institutions are not functioning, these begin to give rise to unauthorized and unconventional elements and personalities who will begin to do the work of those that are actually paid by the government, who will begin to speak up for the people when the government fail to speak up for the people, who will begin to fight for the rights of the people when the government fails to rise up to that responsibility. Now, these have given opportunities to many that we'll be looking at in this video. Ordinary AHMED ISAH is a seasoned broadcaster and someone that is popularly known with the program Brekete Family. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the slogan, Hembe Holololo. Yes, he is an advocate for the ordinary masses, hence his title, Ordinary President, and his name, Ordinary AHMED ISAH. He is popularly known for fighting for the masses, those who are vulnerable, the downtrodden, those who have actually struggled in their fight for justice in the society. And he uses his wealth of influence and connection to reach out to the government and the authorities to step into addressing some of the issues that he calls out or draws to their attention on air, using his program Brekete Family and using his station Human Rights Radio and Televisions. Now, despite all this, Ordinary AHMED ISAH is not generally loved in Nigeria. There are some parts of Nigeria or even some parts of the world that don't like his approach or style of broadcasting or his style of handling issues. The second person we're looking at in this video is Mr. Martins Vincent Ose, popularly known as Very Dark Man, who rose to stardom with his fight for the victim of Jenny's Globe. And then when he exposed some of the things that Nigerians did not really pay attention to in the fight for the justice of Mohbad, and some of that is some public issues that he has discussed, and other people he has also helped to retrieve their funds after they were scammed or after they encountered one or two challenges in their dealings with others. And he has also exposed lots of other issues with his facts. How about Mr. SOWERE, who has always revealed some political hidden agenda in Nigeria that are not in favor of Nigerians, who has also fight for justice. The recent one was where he stood up for the NYC copper girl who started the 30 days challenge. How about Mr. Peter Obi, who started this new idea of a new Nigeria, and he convinced many, not just Nigerians here in Nigeria, but Nigerians in the diaspora, into believing that a new Nigeria is possible. And his movements got a name, the Obedient Movement. And a lot has been said, but his integrity always stood out for his followers because he is always speaking with facts. Now, in Burkina Faso, when many will think that military regime can be so rigid, so full of its own corruption, and cannot achieve anything, the reverse is what we are seeing in Burkina Faso today. That one man can actually make a change and make a statement that will shake not just the continent, but that will shake the world. And he's making bold steps and moves. But you see, these people I've mentioned, they have a common trait. And amidst all the good that you do for the masses, they are also hated. Stay tuned to the end of this video to find out why. You see, these people I've mentioned, there's one thing that is common among them, which is courage. Whenever they speak on issues, especially issues that are of the public interest, they speak with courage. They speak without looking back. They speak without mixing their words. And they speak without shifting their tongues or even changing their statements. They speak with courage. The next is facts. They love to speak with facts and they love to work with documents. They speak boldly because of what they know. And that's the reason why most times it's difficult to bring them down, especially when they are so certain of the fact they are holding in their hands. How about their intelligence? Sources of information that are so strong that you see them speak with so much confidence, and they always tend to know more than they even speak. Sometimes for the sake of national security, national interest, and public good, they tend to hide some information away from the public. Some information that are classified, that you don't just bring up to the masses like that. How about their patriotism? They are so patriotic to see that the nation grows. Most times they overlook their own personal interest for the public interest, thirst and hunger for change. They are always so hungry for change. Ordinary AHMED ISAH or Brekete Family, when establishing his station, gave the station a slogan, redefining broadcasting. And truly he has redefined broadcasting in his own style. Or are we now going to talk about Mr. SOWERE, who has redefined politics? And there's even something common between him and Mr. Peter Obi. They both have interests of the public, but one wants to see things fixed in Nigeria at all means, while the other wants to see Nigeria fixed with diplomacy. So they both have the public interest at heart. It's just their approach that differs. They also have empathy. These people also have empathy. They also feel the pain of the masses, even though they are not in the same shoes with them. Hence the reason why it is easy for them to always defend the masses. But with all of this comes high temper. So you should expect that someone should be angry. Someone should shout when he's speaking on things like this, because he's bitter about what he's seeing. The person knows how it is supposed to be. So there's every tendency that this person will have high temper in reacting to some of these issues. Anger is also part of it. They tend to speak with so much anger. They cannot hold it back because of the weight of information and things they know. Sometimes even because they know who is supposed to do it and the person is actually not even doing it. And that's why they're angry. They also tend to speak with so much rudeness. You say, this person is too rude. Just like many of you have accused Very Dark Man, for instance. You say, this man will just set camera and go shout. They talk, they speak with so much anger. That is how bitter they are. And their anger is on the failed system, not on you. Their anger most times is not even on the perpetrator of the crime, but that the system that's supposed to handle this issue is not handling the issue. How about pride for their achievements? And sometimes it is because of their integrity, because they know that wherever you take them to, they are so certain that they've not done any wrong to anyone. You know, just like the golden rule, do to others what you want them to do to you. Their arms are so free that they are sure they've not done any harm or wrong to anyone. So they always live this free and transparent life that they always make themselves accountable to you, the public. You can see what Very Dark Man did most times, especially with his NGO. You can see what ordinary AHMED ISAH, the family, is also doing with his station. Sometimes even whatever comes even into his own personal purse, he spends it to help the people. And sometimes not for the sake of earning any bragging rights, but because he wants to let you know that he's actually making his own personal efforts. He will report it that, okay, I've helped 1 or 2 persons, I did this. And sometimes, being a Muslim, he has this prayer he always says, because he feels that him mentioning these things that he has done is him claiming the glory of God. So he always has this prayer that he says that I'm not claiming God's glory, I'm just making myself accountable to you, that I've also made my own effort in my own way. And you see what Very Dark Man also does sometimes, when he will show receipts of what he has sent to people. And this is because if he's not putting it out there, people will say, with all the money we get, who you don't help, who you do for, stuff like that. This applies to most of them. So pride is one thing that should do. And you should always expect that these people will shout, because sometimes they hate to see people who are timid. Sometimes they can shout at you, sometimes they can speak to you in so many manners. But there's a difference between Very Dark Man and ordinary AHMED ISAH, which is because Very Dark Man has his own approach, his own style. He's not a journalist. He's not a broadcaster. He was not trained for this. He's just he started as just an ordinary content creator trying to at least make an impact in the society, at least make a positive influence, make some change, point out some issues that should be addressed. The ones he can handle himself, he handles it. The ones he needs to point out or take to the appropriate authorities, he does that. He started that way. But the difference between him and ordinary AHMED ISAH is that ordinary AHMED ISAH is more refined. He's educated. And despite his temper and temperament, those things those traits that always comes with being an advocate, he has a huge learned team around him, both of different age, the elderly, the young ones, who are also advising and guiding him. All right. Hence the reason why he has stayed away from the station for some time now, so that he will avoid some of the things that would trigger his anger. Because according to him, he will say that I don't like seeing things like this, because things like this, they make me diverse. So these people have this common traits. So we should understand these people, understand these traits, and learn to love them like that. This character, these traits comes with being an advocate. You cannot be an advocate and you've not shouted for someone for the first time. You cannot be a public advocate and you are not angry on a particular issue or vent over a particular issue till you get a result for it. Their aim is to get a result. So however they do it, in as much as they are getting a result from it, then it serves it. Or you cannot be an advocate, especially a revolutionary advocate, and you will not insult people. So let's rather learn from their mistakes. And those who are coming up, learn to do better. Learn to speak better. Whatever you think that they are not doing right, you can make a change and make yours better. I'll leave you here at this point, and my name remains Ben P, and this is The Unknown with Ben P. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.